Hello, my name is Daisy Woods, and today I will be sharing some information about summarizing and note-taking. Robert Marzano and his team set out to identify teaching practices that enhance student learning. Their ultimate list included 9 effective teaching strategies that created an environment for student learning. Today I will be discussing one of those 9, summarizing and note-taking. What is summarizing and note-taking? As teachers, we aim to improve students' ability to process information. We ask them to sort out what's relevant and what is not. We encourage students to organize new information in a way that highlights the main ideas and supporting details. Summarizing and note-taking produces a deeper understanding of the content. It helps make connections between concepts, and it organizes new learning. This teaching strategy requires higher order of thinking and is best utilized when teaching new content. Summarizing. In summarizing, we ask students to sort through the information and determine what information we're going to keep and what information we're going to delete. Some information that's repetitive can be combined. We ask students to summarize in their own words, and this helps establish relevance and avoids verbatim note-taking, which is the least effective method of note-taking. And as teachers, we cannot assume students know how to summarize. Effective teachers should demonstrate how to summarize and provide useful feedback to student attempts. Ask students to turn in their notes and provide examples and helpful hints so that they can continue to grow in their note-taking. Effective note-taking practices encourage students to create notes as the information is presented. So as teachers, we can help them by drawing attention to important concepts. And we can do this by emphasizing our tone and changing our pace when we come to something that's important that we really feel the student needs to take note of. Teachers can also aid student note-taking by providing materials such as templates and graphic organizers that the students can use. And these make great guides for new note-takers. And again, we teachers need to model effective use of those templates. We should teach a variety of note-taking method and allow students to choose what works best for them. There are several different methods of note-taking, and this slide provides a few examples. The informal method identifies a main idea and breaks down into key concepts and important ideas from there. The webbing graphic starts with a main idea and breaks out into different parts that key concepts can be identified and supporting details are listed. The graphic organizer on the far right I thought was a great example of how a graphic organizer can help students to take notes because it gives new note takers a good picture of what they should be putting where. There are strengths of summarizing and note-taking, and they help keep students on task and focused. When we are engaging students in active listening, we are requiring them to listen for detail, so they are doing that active listening. And the more a student practices note-taking, the better they will be at processing information. When we ask students to weed out what's not important, and emphasize key details, we are calling on their higher order of thinking. And all of these strengths create students who can learn independently and learn relevant, useful, meaningful information. Some pitfalls to try and avoid with summarizing and note-taking. There are students that struggle with active listening, and those students unfortunately will struggle with this process. That's just, if they have a hard time honing in and listening, they will struggle with note-taking. And verbatim note-taking, basically just copying what they see and hear, doesn't allow students time to process the information in order to create that deeper understanding. They're just busy writing word for word, and the words are going on the page and they have no knowledge of what they are writing. There are some students that will listen to the lecture or presentation, or they will read the text, and they will not be able to identify the key concepts and main idea, and those students will struggle with summarizing and note-taking. If a teacher's pace is too fast, students will not be able to process the information and write their necessary information. A teacher should build time into her lesson to call upon questioning for students, build that into their lesson plans so they know, hey, I've got to stop for questions here, and this is going to allow me to clear up any misunderstandings about the information I've presented and to clarify my response. Useful tips for summarizing and note-taking. Again, give students adequate time to take their notes. You can't rush the note-taking process, especially in the beginning years of teaching students note-taking. And again, we need to allow for questions during the lecture or presentation. Again, review student notes and provide feedback. Do ask the students to turn in their notes periodically so you can see what they're doing. If they're writing down verbatim, word for word, we need to encourage them to summarize and identify those main ideas and supporting details. And lastly, we need to practice note-taking as a class. Again, we can't assume students know how to note-take. We have to teach it, we have to model it, and we need to provide that instruction for them. And the next couple of slides are just my resources that I have cited. I would like to thank you for joining me today as I discuss summarizing and note-taking as one of Marzano's 9 teaching strategies.